Hi.
Hi, Rebbe. Rebbe,
Yes.
I'm sorry I keep pushing this off. Would Parshas Vayetze be a good Shabbos?
Which week? This week is
This week
Oh.
is 2
no.
weeks.
They will not be late. I'm not going to be home.
All right.
Every third week, I go now to my son's, where I'm kind of like unofficial rabbi. So
What?
I go to my son's house, where I'm kind of an unofficial rabbi in the shul. So that's every third week. So Vayetze is the third week.
Ah.
So count what has to be the 2 off weeks, obviously, in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, but sooner or later. Okay,
Hashem.
so we are on Yud Aleph Amud Aleph. We'll tell you about what happened with the 80 witches in Ashkalon. So so we said it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines to the bottom of the Vilna. And it's the question is how long the hinge of Gehenna is going to be in this woman's ear, who was a hypocrite. And they said until the age of Shimon Shetach. So Shimon Shetach dies. Mean go ud now. I'm going to take it out of her ear. And go ud nay. We're going to put it in his ear. Amar so he said, why? The lama. He said, if I become the Nasi, I'm going to kill the witches. I became the Nasi. I didn't kill the witches. And there are in fact 80 witches, who are 80 women who are witches. Being come out of the Ashkalon, who are sitting in the cave in Ashkelon, the Chabla and Alma. And evidently, with their witchcraft, they are destroying the world. Not sure exactly how, but evidently they were bad for the world. Ella Azel Amarle. So go. So go tell him. I'm alone. So he said, I'm afraid to go tell him. To Gvar Nasir, because he's the Nasi. He's the race whom in Tani. He's not going to believe me. I'm the nobody. So they said to him, if he believes you, good. In low, and if not, make this simon. Have your dog al enoch, put your hand on your eye, the afka, and take your eye out, the chazor, and put it back. Because it'll go back to its place. I guess the idea was that Shimon Shetach was giving a message that he's not paying attention. His eyes are not where they're supposed to in terms of eradicating the witches. Also, the Tanle Uvda. This Chassid went and told Shimon Shetach about this story. Wanted to make a simon. Below Shaka, Shimon Shetach didn't let him. So he said, why you done on the art gavar Chassid Yatzim min Cain. I know that you are a very big chassid, and and you can do more. You can do more. In other words, you can prove yourself. Now that befumi la maris. Now that, how would you know that I said like get rid of the witches? I never told anybody about it. I thought about it. So if you know what I thought, it must be that you got a message from heaven. Yadam and Shimon Shetach Yom Sagir. Immediately Shimon Shetach got up on a winter day. Let's say Tumni Guvrin Bechirin. And he took 80 handsome young men. Yavi then Tumner Lushin Nikim. And he gave them 80 changes of clean clothes. In other words, I guess, kosher clothing. And he put them into new jugs. It was oversized jugs. He had the 80 men in oversized jugs. And close them on their heads. It's become why did this become clear in a minute. So it was it says it was Yom Sagrir. It was a winter day, so the assumption is that there's rain on that day. That it's raining. So alone, he said to these 80 guys, in Safris, if I whistle, Chadzman, the first time I whistle, Levashon Levushecha, put on the clothing, the fancy clothing. Being Safris Mantinyan, and if I whistle a second time, every one of you get out of the jug in which you're in immediately. Came in that tomb, once they got that to Ashkalon, I'm sorry, when the witches come, each one of you come, your goof chada, and embrace one of the witches. You tap them and I'll pick her up off the ground. The Iske Dain Karshesa, because this specific type of witchcraft, they can only do it if they're connected to the ground. If they're dangling off the ground, they can't do anything. The witchcraft is inoperative. Also becoming a tired of Martha. So he went and stood by the opening of this cave with the 80 witches. Amar, he said, Oyim, which the Shaitan says means holy, holy in Greek. So he said, obviously, he was flattering the witches, calling them holy people, holy women. Peacefully open up the meeting. I'm one of you. I both believe in witchcraft. Amalei, they said, Yoma. How did you come here on this day, which is a very rainy day? How did you get here? Amalei, they said, I went between the drops, which would obviously be a kind of witchcraft in and of itself. Amalei said, what do you come here to do? Omar, he said, Melech o Milfa, to learn and to teach, right? In other words, you teach me what you can do, and I'll teach you what I can do. Share knowledge. Come, Matse, Yavid, Madu, Chacham. Everybody should do that which they know how to do. And each one of them would say what they said. In other words, they'd say an incantation. Shimon Shetach wanted them to do this to them so they could prove in front of witnesses that they're witches by doing their spells. Each one doing their own witchcraft. So each one did their own witchcraft. One of them conjured up what do we say? Brought up a piece of bread. Another brought up a piece of meat. Again, another brought up cooked dishes. Another brought up wine. They said to him, we just did to you all these great witchcraft things. Now, what do you have to do for us? Show us what you can do. So, he said, East beats far. Train Safri. I'm going to whistle twice. I'm going to bring 80 handsome men. They're going to be happy with you, and you're going to be happy with them. Amalei said, they said, boy, wow, we want. They said, yeah, for sure you want. that. So he made what first whistle, and they all put on their clothing. Sabas Martinyanin, he whistled second time, all rose up as one. So Omar said, call them Mate, anybody who's here. Yakum Sugay, you should recognize his partner. Tanunan, and they picked them up. But also and they went and they hung them. In other words, I guess part of the witchcraft was that their clothing was dry. So that would show that they, even though they came in the rain, they came dry. So obviously a witchcraft. And then they were told when they got up, everybody choose your own witch. And evidently the witches thought that they would be grabbed in a romantic way, or some sort of way which would be for their benefit. But in fact, they were grabbed and hung off the ground, so they had no power, and then they were led to be hung themselves. They were hanged. Okay. This is a story which is mentioned several times in Shas of Shimon Sheta, who hung women in Ashkalon. Amud Shmonim Nashim Talah. So the question is, how can he do this? How can he hang all these women in one day? Now I have to judge more than one person per day. Now to judge two people one day. Normally you can't do that. That was a special case. Tanya Lesmi Yaakov said heard Shamati. This is followed because it's talking about harass Shah in punishment. Okay, so anyway, you have to bend the rule on a temporary basis in order to fix some situation. Shamati Torah. You can punish people not according to halacha and not according to Torah if it's necessary. At Echon, to what extent? Omar ad Zimzum. There are various different interpretations of what this means. The means that even if you just thought about an Aveira and didn't do it, you're allowed to punish him. Pnei Moshe says even a basin sees that they could wait long enough that there be witnesses. We do it. So if it's necessary, we don't wait for witnesses, and we're making onesh shalom minadi. Okay, nobody knows exactly what zimzum means. Yossi says, no, you have to have witnesses. But Asra, you don't necessarily have to have. A warning, you don't necessarily have to have. And in those circumstances, you can mark on a shalok halacha if necessary. But witnesses, you got to have. Some guy went on Shabbos riding a horse, which is that worse than this is the Rabbanon. Right? They real basin suklu. And they brought him to the basin, they stoned him. Hello, Shvus. Habisai. It's only the Rabbanon. Why they come for the Rabbanon? People were very lax in their Shmir Shabbos, so they have to make an example of somebody. This guy was the example. Okay, so he killed him even though he didn't technically deserve to die. The guy who went on the road with his wife. Go there, and they went behind a fence, and they had relations by the side of the road, behind a fence. They real basin, real cool, and they brought them to the basin, and they gave them malchus, they flogged him. What's the prohibition? Was his wife, who wasn't prohibited, but basin punished him, even though it was not technically strictly necessary or required, because they didn't want people to degrade themselves in such manners. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll leave the next Mishnah for next time.
All right.
Okay? You follow
Okay.
tonight? You're very quiet.
I followed. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rebbe.
Okay, speak to you next week. Take care.
Have a good week.